What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Code Focus channel. Today what we'll be doing is building a fully reusable form component. We'll be using React and styled components. Here I have an application that has two pages, a sign-in page and a register page. Each of these pages are using the form component. So yeah, it is fully reusable. All you have to do is send in different props to each form. The props are title, form array, submit button, onSubmit, and redirect. The form array is structured as so. You just make an array and each object will be rendered as an input, and so you give it a label, a name, and a type. So for example, if I added another object here, you can see it gets added to the form. Yep. Alright, and I'll also show you what happens when we click the submit button. So we'll go to sign in and we'll do code@gmail.com and 123456. When we click sign in, the form gets reset first of all, and data gets sent to the parent component. Alright, so you can do anything you want with this data, and yeah, so let's get straight into the build. Alright, so open up VS Code and do npx create React app in your terminal. Like so, npx create React app, and then period to install it in the directory you're currently in. I've already done that, and I've also built a little template so we can build our form component within here. Since I'm using styled components, I was able to set up some variables for spacing, and I also set up a theme with our text colors, our background colors, and other colors. And then in the app, you can see we're using the theme provider via style components. We're wrapping everything with a theme provider and giving it a property of our theme style, which I just showed you. So then we're doing a switch here, which has the various routes like the sign in and the register pages. So yeah, you really don't need any of this. So I'm not going to explain everything. I just like to have it here so everything looks good for when I'm building the form. So what you're going to want to do is go into components and create a form file or folder, and then within there create a form.js and a styles.js. Then within form you can do RAFCE, and if you click tab, that'll create a functional component here. This is an extension called ES7 snippets. Yeah, go ahead and get that if you want that functionality. So what we'll do first is create all our style components for the form. So we'll create a form, then we'll do sForm title. We'll do a form control, and within form control do a s label, and after that do an s input, and then below all of that you can do a s button. Alright, so now we'll go into our styles and create all of these styled components. So first of all, we'll import styled from styled components, then we will import our variables. So let me just open that file up so we can easily import this. There we go. Alright, so to make a style component, all you gotta do is type export const s, then whatever the name of the component is, and then equals to styled dot, and then here you'll put whatever the element will be. So whether it be form or div, a tag, or span. So yeah, that's just a little rundown on how styled components works. So here we'll do form, and then within here you can put whatever styles you want. So we'll start off with a width of 100%, the background of theme.background 2, And what we just did there was target our theme via the theme provider. And again, all these colors are within this object. Now we'll go border radius, v dot border radius, and padding v dot medium spacing. And we're accessing these values from our variables object. All right, so let's bring this in. This is gonna bring up a warning. We're not, because we're not using this within the sign in page. So go to sign in and use the form component. All right. So before we actually style everything, let's just create all of these styled components. So we'll go export const s form title is equal to styled dot span. I think I did. Yep, and then export const s form control is equal to styled dot div. Export const s label is equal to styled dot label. Export const s input is equal to styled dot input, and then export const s button is equal to styled dot button. All right, now let's import all these style components. So what I like to do is go to the end of the form component text here and get rid of the last character and then retype it, and you'll be able to import it easily. Right. So here's our form without styles. Obviously it's pretty ugly, so let's get rid of the ugliness. There's a title. Here, for the form control, we're going to target pseudo elements, or whatever they're called. No, I don't think it's called pseudo. We're going to target the first of type and give it a margin of v dot medium spacing. And we're going to target every form control except the last one, and give that a margin bottom of small spacing. All right, now we'll target the label and give this a display block, font size 14 pixels, a font weight of 600, margin left of 4 pixels, and a margin bottom of calc v dot small spacing divided by 4. Okay, great. Let's throw a label in here so we can see that. Awesome. Now we're going to style our input, give it an outline of none to get rid of the default outline. Do a border of 1px solid. Theme dot text fade. A width of 100%. Padding of v dot small spacing, font size of 14 pixels, and a border radius of v dot border radius. There's that. Next up is the button. So here we're going to do button reset. This is from within our variables file. So I'll show you that real quick. We have a button reset. It basically gets rid of all the default styling on the button elements. And we're going to use that within this button component here. Give it a width of 100%, a background of theme.background secondary, and then a color. Let's get rid of this. All right, of theme.text secondary, and a padding of v.small spacing, then a display, flex, justify, content, center, border radius, v.border radius, a margin top, v.medium spacing, and a cursor of pointer. Awesome. We'll go ahead and throw in some text. Alright, there's our button. Sweet. Now I do think just wondering why there's padding here. Oh, I see. We have to give this a margin top. Sorry, I just paused there. I was thinking. A little debugging. Alright, so yeah, make sure you give that a margin top instead of a margin. Okay. So that's pretty much it for our styling. So now we're going to get into the functionality, and I'll go ahead and make this a bit bigger for you guys. So I guess we'll start out with the props. So what we need is a title prop, a form array, a submit button, an onSubmit callback function, and a redirect. Okay, so normally we'd go in whatever component we initiate this component in, we'd send the props in there. But for now, we'll just send in some default props. So to do that, you just go, you target the component and then put .default props and then an object. So here we can do title. I guess we'll say sign in. So if I were to use this prop, then here we have sign in still. If I change this, as you can see, it updates. All right, next up is the form array. Now this obviously will be an array, and we'll have objects in here that have a label, a name, and a type. Cool. So for the sign in, we'll have two of these. The second one being password. And this name value will get stored in the object that handles state for the form, and we'll get into that later. Next up, we have the submit button prop, which will have the button text. So let's put that here. Awesome. Then we'll have a little callback for onSubmit. And we can console.log form. So we're going to use this later, not right now. Then we'll have redirect. This will be an object with a label. Don't have an count. And we'll also have a link value where we'll have another label for the link and a 2. Okay. So what we're going to do now is take this form array and map over it and render the inputs for the form. So go below the form title and put curly braces and target form array and initiate the map method. And within here we'll destructure the objects, taking out label, name, and type. And after that do index and parentheses. Then we'll go ahead and throw our form control in here. And if we save it now, you can see we have two. Now we have to render the contents within these. So label, boom, email, password. And for the labels, we're going to give them a property of HTML4. And then for the inputs, do an ID of name, a name of name, a type of type, and then an onChange. Actually, we'll do that later. Okay, and then remember to give each of these mappings a key of index. Cool. So if we try it now, we're not storing these values in state, so we're going to handle that now. So we'll create a form state. So do form and set form is equal to use state. And for the default, we're actually going to create a little function that will parse the form array and create an object out of the names. So I'll show you that right now. We'll do a const prepare form. And we'll send in the form array. Here, when we're setting the default state, we'll call this function and send in the form array from props. Then within this form prepare form function, we'll return form array dot reduce, and reduce is an array method. I don't think I'm gonna try to explain the reduce method here because I'll probably do a really bad job, to be honest. But basically, we're just converting this form array into an object. What did that do? Oh, set this. Alright, so I'll show you what this did. Just make this variable here and set it to prepare form. And then we'll console.log this initial form. So as you can see, the output is an object that has both of our objects here, the names, assigned to an empty string, which will be the initial value for these form inputs. I'm actually going to do auto complete off for the form. Okay. Alright, so now we can go ahead and use these form values within our inputs. So target the form state and grab the corresponding data. And then we'll also do an onChange. And this will call our another function that we'll create called onChange handler. And here we're going to send in E. So go ahead and declare this function up here. Send in E. And we'll do set form previous. And we'll return the previous object along with the new value. So e.target.name is equal to e.target.value. Awesome. So yeah, that should be working. Do a use effect here so we can see if it is working properly. Console.log form. Send this in here. Alright, so if we inspect and go to our console, refresh, and then we'll start typing, and you can see our objects are getting, our object is getting updated. Great, it's working properly. So we can get rid of this use effect. Now we will do the submit functionality. So make another variable in here and call it onSubmit handler. And we will call onSubmit and send in our form data along with a callback. And this callback will get triggered within the within our onSubmit function, which will be in the parent component. And likely you'll initiate the callback whenever you're done, using the data. Say you have to make a request to your API, which stores it in a database. Once that's all done, then this callback gets initiated or called, and we'll set the form back to its default. All right, we'll assign this onSubmit form to the onClick of our submit button. Yeah, I'll throw it in here. So the problem with this is when we click submit, it actually refreshes the page, and we don't want that to happen. So to prevent that, we'll do e.prevent default. And boom, I'm clicking it right now, and it's not refreshing the page anymore. All right, so now let's work on the redirect text. So go below button and do s redirect. We're gonna make some more style components here. We'll do s redirect label, and we'll do s redirect link. Awesome. So now we'll go into our styles. I don't know why this is open. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So now we'll style these. Export const s redirect is equal to style.div. Font size 12 pixels, width 100%, display of flex, justify content, center, that's going to center everything, and a margin top of v, or v dot small spacing. First one done. Now we're going to do redirect label is equal to styled dot span. I'll give this a color theme dot text 2. Second one done. Now we'll do redirect link is equal to styled dot, actually not dot, but styled parentheses link. Then we're going to import link from React Router DOM. And we'll do color theme.primary. All right. Now that those are done, we can use them within our form component. So import them. Oh, jeez. What's going on here? That's weird. All right. So this redirect is optional. Obviously, you're not going to be using it on every form. It's usually just for the sign-in and register forms. So if you don't want to use it, set the redirect prop to null, or just don't set it at all so it's undefined. And the way we'll check that is by declaring a variable called has redirect and setting it equal to exclamation point redirect. And that's gonna, if it's has redirect will be true if redirect is there, and it'll be false if there is no redirect. And we'll use this to conditionally render our redirect components. All right. Now we'll use the data from the redirect prop within here. So redirect.label. Awesome. And then redirect.link.label. Good. We will add a space here. Adding a space like that doesn't work, so we actually have to do the code for it. So it's and NBSP semicolon. That'll create a space right there. And then this link doesn't work, obviously, because we do not have it set to anything. So we have to do to redirect.link.to. And now that should work. Awesome. It's working. That's basically it. There's our finished form component. Now I'm going to show you how to use it throughout your application. So if we go to pages here, I have a register page and a sign-in page. We're already using it on the sign-in page, as you can see. But to use it in our register page, all we have to do is put it in here. Now if we go to our register page, it is here, but we are using our default props, so we're going to send in different data for each of these. So for sign in, it's going to be all of the same data that we used in the default props here. So we'll just copy all this. Alright, so now we're going to make an onSubmit handler function within our sign-in component. And if you remember correctly, we got form and a callback sent to this function. Alright, so if we go ahead and console.log form, we'll actually add this little text here. Oh, we're on the register page, my bad. Boom, it works. Now we're going to do the same thing in the register page, except use different props. So for title, we'll say register. For the form array, We're actually going to take this form array, put it down here, assign it to a variable, and we're going to use this variable within here. Then we're just going to copy and paste this into our register. We're going to add 2 more objects. We'll do this. Make this first one name, password. This will be confirm password. Camel case the name. Great. Use this in here. So if we go to register, as you can see, those are all getting populated. Next up is the submit button. Right now it's using default props, that's why it's sign in. We'll say register. Boom. And then on submit, we will do on submit handler. Declare that function in here. Again, we're getting the form and a callback from here. We'll console.log register submitted. All right, and then we'll do redirect is equal to this object. We'll say already have an account, sign in, and the link will be to the sign in page. Awesome. So if we did this correctly, if we click sign in, it'll go to the sign in page. If we click register, go back to the register page. Now if we type all this data in here and we go to our console, when we click register, it should pop up in here. Awesome. There's all our data. So yeah, you can use this component wherever you want in your application. You know what we did forget to do? We forgot to call this callback within each of these. So first we're going to check if there is a callback. Then we're going to call it. There we go. We don't have to check. There's going to be a callback. There's always going to be a callback. And we'll do the same thing in here. So again, if we do all this, click register, it will console log, and then it will get rid of all of this. It'll, refresh the form back to its initial state. So yeah, you can use this, like I was saying, you can use this form component anywhere in your applications, and yeah, it's fully reusable. You can send in any data you want. I think in the next video or a video in the future, I'll expand on this form component and show you how to do validity checks and parsing for your values and onChange parsing, submit parsing, whole bunch of stuff. So if you want to see that, leave a comment in the comment section and let me know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.